Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the 3 hours. Hi, Mabel.
Hey Ruth. Hi everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome.
Today, we're going to be talking about life. If life begins at birth and then ends at death, but between birth and death, I don't think everyone is living or living to their full potential. Mabel, what do you think?
I do not think that people are living to their full potential. I think that a lot of people are just existing from day to day.
Right. We already know that life is complex and it is an evolving system. That is why it is kind of difficult to have one correct definition of what is life.
Absolutely.
So let us jump into the questions and just share, reflect, realign, and then rise at the end of this episode. Do you think that life happens to you or life happens for you or through you?
Thank you, Ruth, for that question. I think that's a very interesting question. And I think that for most people, life is happening to them. For me, I had to learn a long time ago that the mindset of thinking that life is happening to you would only keep you stuck. When you think that life is happening to you and not through you, what you're really telling yourself, the story you're telling yourself is that maybe you're just not a lucky individual. Life is not treating you fairly. When really, when you think about it, life is not fair.
Even to the people that we think that life is fair to, that we admire, that we want to be like,
It's
right?
not. And the reason why you don't know that is because people don't share their bad days.
Right. And this leads me to the next question that I want to ask. At what point?
Sorry to interrupt you, but before
Sure.
you go to the next question, I
Right.
was just going to say this real quickly. The story you tell yourself matters. Sometimes the problem is not the problem. The problem is the story that you have been telling yourself.
Oh, I'm too broke. I was born into a poor country, poor family. I'm not as talented. I'm not as pretty.
That part.
All those excuses.
Excuses. And at some point, you have to look in the mirror and be accountable for your life decisions. Absolutely.
This brings me to my next question, Mabel. At what point did you, Mabel, realize that you have to be in control? You have the power to change your life or the narrative of your life?
Whew. Thank you for that question. But this was the absolute life-changing moment in my life. And I have to tell you, it took a long time for me.
It does.
Unfortunately, it took a long time. I wish that I learned the lessons earlier in life. And that's the reason why we have this podcast, is so that we can help you unstuck. We can help you reflect, realign, and rise.
Exactly.
You don't have to wait as long as it took
We
me, or it took Ruth
Right.
to rise. But to answer your question, for me it was just wallowing in my own sorrow, constantly telling myself that maybe I wasn't good enough. I had to stop blaming the people in my life,
The circumstances.
the circumstances. I had to stop blaming everyone and just look within and say, what is it that is in my control, in my power, that I can do to start changing my narrative? I realized that I needed to change my narrative because I guess I had enough. I felt like I was suffering enough, and I felt like I had reached my rock bottom, and the only direction to go was up. And so I decided to change the way I was telling my story.
Right. If I may, you remember this book? It's called Waiting for Godot. Like you sit and you're waiting for a superpower to come save you. And I'm not saying there's no God who's gonna save you or a destiny helper. All we are trying to say is that even before those come, even before you beckon on their help,
Yeah.
you need to get to that point where you say, this or that isn't working.
Yeah.
Your eyes are opened, and then you take the decision, you make the decision to want to change, and that's changing from within, and then start
Absolutely.
asking for a superpower or God or
Yeah.
people to help with the change.
So basically, stop waiting and start doing.
Start doing.
It's all in your hands. You have the power to change your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to the next question, and the next question is, how much of our current life is shaped by our choices versus circumstances?
Circumstances can actually shape our lives. Grace, some things are just gracious. For example, we who are from third world countries, you play the lottery and then you won.
That's grace.
That's some grace. But mind you, you had to play that lottery.
Right.
There are some people
You had to
for
take
some-
action.
Yes, for some reason they're just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
So even when grace wants to work, you have to partner with grace.
Absolutely.
And your character sometimes is the grace that is being attracted.
Yeah.
So I really, really want to lean on accountability at this point, not because I don't believe in grace. Grace has helped me along in a lot of ways in my life.
Yeah.
But we have to be accountable. We
Yeah.
have to take action. Look at something like your career or marriage, right? You decide whom to marry.
Absolutely.
You decide whom you want to do life with. And whatever happens in that union, it's you.
Yeah.
You made that
Your choice.
decision. You decide the kind of job you want to do.
Absolutely.
If you want to be, whatever you want to be, there are things that are going to happen to you naturally because of that decision.
Yeah.
You decide to have 6 kids, you decide to have no kid, you decide to be frivolous, you decide to be decent. All of those things are decisions that we make, and we have to know that they have consequences.
Absolutely.
But the problem is, we want to make the decisions but separate them from the consequences. And now with Christianity and a whole lot of knowledge about grace, it's as though, oh yeah, I made this bad decision, but can grace just erase this bad consequence?
Not gonna
No,
happen.
darling. Take responsibility and make sure you're accountable and you make the right choices.
To be able to grow in life, you have to be accountable for your actions and your decisions. The bottom line is you have to be accountable for whatever you have put out in the world.
And stop being a victim. You know about the victim mentality?
Oh, that's going to be a whole topic.
Right. I wanted to touch, just trigger your mind a bit about the victim mentality. Like, do you think this mentality keeps people stuck?
Oh, yes.
And how do you recognize that you have it, and what do you do to get rid of it?
Simple answer. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Everybody is not the problem. Sometimes it's really you. You cannot blame everybody for your problems.
I've been married 4 times, and all the 4 marriages ended because my partner was so bad, and I failed this medical or this whatever exam 6 times because the exam board is just not what I want it to be. And I've been trying this business and it keeps failing because the business system is not. Is that
not favoring me?
Is that the victim mentality?
Yes,
Nida?
absolutely.
Tell us more about it.
The victim mentality is basically blaming the system, it's blaming everybody around you, it's blaming your entire life, your friends, and just, it's everybody else but me. Right. I am not the problem. So oh my God, I am perfect.
How do they get out of it?
Like I said earlier, look in the mirror. You know what they say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Right.
When people have called you out on your behavior, I don't care who they are, but if more than 1, 2, 3 people called you out on a certain behavior that they have maybe experienced with you, it might be time to look within and say, okay, these people might have a point. Because the victim mentality, the reason why people stay stuck in this mentality is because they think everybody is out to get them. Right. They think that everybody is against them. Oh my God, people don't like me. People are jealous of me. That's why I don't have friends. Well, my friend, if you are not able to keep a single friend, the problem might be you. The problem might be you. And we're also saying these things out of experience, right?
Right.
Because I used to have victim
I
mentality.
did, Maybell. So most of my
Yeah.
friends and family told me I was an overthinker. I would process every little thing in the, the biggest way. Like if I was just sitting and you're like, so you're still sitting there, it's just like, okay, why is she saying I'm lazy?
Making a mountain out of a molehill, huh?
Yes, I was an overthinker. I was kind of pessimistic.
Oh,
And then it made me blame the people around me a lot. But I didn't want to lose my friends. I didn't want to lose my family.
you had to do the
So
hard
I
work.
had to do the first of all accepting that that is how I am
Yeah.
was the biggest
Yeah.
work. Because I said no, that's not how I'm here. Actually,
It's hard.
It's,
It's hard to look in the mirror
But
and
the
say,
moment I started thinking about myself and reflecting on my actions and trying to get out of that overthinking and oversensitiveness, it helped me a bit. I'm not there yet, but I've
work in
grown.
progress.
Yes,
I'm so happy for you that you're able to get out of that mindset.
Right.
I had to get out of that mindset as well. I used to tell the most pitiful stories about myself. Like, I just would tell anybody that cared to listen, right? Until one day, a friend of mine said to me, you've come a really long way, right? Do you think that maybe you can start telling your story to inspire? Moment of silence. That's not what I was expecting to hear. I was expecting, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I always,
it's a pity party.
Yeah,
Can
no,
you dance?
it's a behavior pattern that was doing something for me, right? It was making me feel seen and heard in the most unhealthy way. So when that friend told me that, of course I wasn't happy about that because that's not what I wanted to hear, right? But when I went home and thought about it, I was like, she had a point. She had a point. At some point, you have to be accountable. At some point, listen, in life, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are. It doesn't matter how you came into this world. You might have been born to like the poorest parents in the world. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. You might be homeless right now. There is still hope for you, my friend. You can change the story you've been telling yourself. And that will drastically change your mental. It will change the way you process, the way you think. And if you can do that, that's the step right there. That's how you can truly change that victim mentality.
And one unsaid truth about this mentality is that it always makes the other person look bad because you are the victim. So the villain is the person who was inflicting pain on you, who was punishing you, who was cheating on you, who didn't send you to the good schools, the country that is not the richest. So whenever you have that mentality, you are unconsciously saying that the other thing or the other person is bad.
And we're not trying to downplay what you may be going through. We're not saying that your experiences are not true. All we are saying is that the problem is typically not the problem. The problem is how you look at the problem. Like you said earlier, you used to overthink everything and everything becomes so bigger than what it really is.
Right. Thank you very much, Mabel. That was very, very insightful. I actually learned though, even though I'm on the podcast. I think in a nutshell, all we are trying to say is that do not let fear and self-doubt stop you from living the life that you want to live or achieving the dreams you want to achieve. Okay? And you have to play a role in your healing and the building of the life you want. Think about it. It's your life.
Yes.
It's not your parents' life.
100%.
It's not the society's life. It's your life. So own it and work on it. And then make daily choices, make habits that will make, positive changes.
Yeah.
And maybe, what's your conclusion? What do you think is one decision that somebody can take that can shift their future positively?
Well, I think that for you to start changing your life and actually start living the life that you truly deserve, because you deserve a great life, that you have to make a decision, a conscious decision that you want better for yourself. Because people can want better for you, but do you want better for yourself?
Exactly.
That's the first step. You have to make that decision that you want better for yourself. And the second thing you do is start from wherever you are. Your healing and how you get to the next level is all your responsibility. It does not have to be perfect, but just make that one decision that you want better for yourself. You deserve it. So let's reflect on it, realign, and rise.
Thank you for watching.